All right, hello and welcome back, everybody. This is David with Fairmere's Rangers, and we're picking up with our final battle of week 1 of our 4v4 multiplayer tournament on Empire Total War. And in this matchup, we got the Huron and the Iroquois Confederacy. They are allied and going up against the nation of Spain. So this one is a home field advantage for the natives, so they will be taking the easier portion of the Finland map, which is the Team 2 side, which has more of the upward slope. So that should be a little bit of an advantage for the natives. Plus there's a good amount of trees and hill action that they can take advantage of. And we'll just see how well the native players play together and if they can pull off a victory against Spain. So far in this tournament in week 1, some of the nations that I didn't expect to do as well did pretty well. Starting with the Ottomans, they took out the Poland-Lithuania force. And yeah, that was a pretty good matchup there. But anyways, let's get into this one. We're talking Spain here, and the Huron and the Iroquois. And you can see here, Spain on the bottom that we just left, he's basically facing off against nothing. And here in the center, they got the 2 center players masked up in the center. And this is because they don't know exactly what they're up against. All the natives, they're not sure exactly where they're going to be, so that's why you have one of the Spanish players still facing off on the flank. And here in this woodland right here, there's a whole bunch of units hidden for Spain, so don't think that there's none there, because they are just hidden. Same thing over here on this flank. In those woods back there, there's some hidden units. Now Spain is going to make the first aggressive move as they try to move up the hill and take some ground against the natives, but they're used to doing this versus European nations. It's kind of a risky move against the natives, as these native lancers smash right into the Spanish forces and go downhill and smack into some militia. That's gonna pretty much do the end of that lancer. It's better off to keep always the notion in mind when you're using cav, whether it's Native American or if it is European or whatever nation. You always need to make sure you have infantry support for your cav. Now here, the Iroquois player in the center is walking his entire army up, hidden, so the Spanish players have no idea where the Iroquois are in the top. You can see the bowmen here. These guys are also hidden, walking hidden. That's one of the specialties of the Iroquois. Unfortunately, the Huron do not have that advantage, but the Huron have probably the best units of any of the Native Americans. I tell you, their Obajiwas are just fabulous, and they're very cheap. The Obajiwa warriors, extremely good. You can bring a whole army of those and can't go wrong. In this one, they do bring some platoon warriors, which are some of the elite. You can see them with their little doggy hats on, coming down the hill. And you can see the Spanish getting some volleys off on them as they come down. And obviously, you're going to see another wave of Huron coming down the hill, and that's going to form a very bad situation for the Spanish player. As you see, his cazadors just got smashed here. They're going to lose all their long-range units quite rapidly. The Iroquois sent his lancers in here, and then the other Iroquois player is going to get some flanking shots in the light dragoons. Got the one over there on the other side actually down quite a bit. They're still in the process of reloading, but they're still getting a couple shots in on the other flanking light dragoon, but you can see the other one's down quite low from the shots they took. So the Hurons still bringing some of their forces up, but at this point the Hurons are starting to get a little tired. It would be wise to rest these guys up before you make any more push, but they feel the dander up, so they're going to continue the rush. And we'll see what the consequences of that are going to be later, if it will affect the outcome or not. But you can see here they continue to rout off Spanish forces one after the other. And they're routing them off with quite a few men left in them. Like that militia still had over 60 men. But the Spanish are in complete and utter retreat as they try to make their way downhill to the remnants of the Spanish forces downhill that are not really engaged to this point. All right, so we got some more reinforcing Obajiwa for the Hurons coming down the hill. As you can see here, another Spanish unit is routing off, routed with over 60 men there as well. And another 2 Spanish units going to rout here. So it's a snowball effect here. And you can see now more of the Spanish forces coming out of that woodland, coming out of hiding. And now the musketmen for the Iroquois in the center are letting their presence be felt, getting some shots off on that militia. Now, once again, you can see the Spanish player facing off against practically nothing over there because they're unaware if their forces are there or not. That's the beauty of being able to walk hidden. That's what's so cool about playing natives, man. It's so awesome. So, because the Iroquois, like I said, they can walk hidden. Some of the units, not all of them. So it's important that you choose wisely in the units you choose. Yeah, it's just sad some of the Huron aren't able to walk hidden. But once again, you can see these Obajiwa warriors, 120 per unit, and they really pack a punch. They're great units. All right, so here come the Iroquois. And they got their bowmen coming forward. It's the Mohawk elite warriors. They are bowmen. So we'll see them start to get some shots off with the bows. And getting a couple kills here on the running Spanish forces. As Spain is in high retreat here. Now, some of them are moving towards the other Iroquois that are walking forward hidden. They don't even know that. And one of the Huron do end up routing off. They're just getting really tired at this point. It's going to be tough for them to continue in the fight as they're running into fresh Spanish troops. And luckily all these Iroquois here are nice and fresh, but they're having to run, I like saying that even though it's probably not good English, but I'm good at bad English, so I'm going to say they're having to run because the engagement here is taking place quite rapidly everywhere. As you can see, the Huron and the Iroquois at the bottom of the hill have now gone into complete engagement at the bottom down here against the Spanish. And we have an opportunity here, since the Spanish are going to be occupied with this fight here. We have an opportunity where we can smash their forces and sandwich them. You can see here on both sides of this woodland. So we'll try and get that done. And again, Spanish player on the flank is facing nothing, and he is starting to realize that the entirety of the Native Americans are not even there. So he's going to start moving his men into the fight. So that's the important thing about counting units, and that was something he probably was doing. So he's going to start moving. And here you can see the Spanish that were in that wood that we're trying to sandwich. We're starting to throw tomahawks at them, but they did notice and they do run, which is unfortunate. But we're still going to try and sandwich them in and see if we can get them trapped. Because if we can surround them, that will cause massive morale drops for the good old Spanish. Even though they got a lot of elite units and in there, they don't seem to have any general's bodyguards. So one of these units is most likely a general. I think 1 or 2 of them have a general unit, but the rest of them have their general inside their unit. One of these fighting units, meaning that. Talking a lot about units here, starting to trouble me. We're getting some hatchet action, chopping down the Spanish. But while all this is happening, we got a fresh Spanish army coming up while these poor old natives are getting worn down in melee, which is kind of a double-edged sword. They're winning this fight, but at the expense of exhaustion. Here, the remnants of the top players are holding this flank here with one line of units here. I mean, not one line, but one line of several units. Make sure I say that properly. And sadly, there are a bunch of guards. We got Welland guards, and we got infantry, Guardia infantry. So here come the natives to get into melee with them. And we'll see if they can whittle down the Spanish force over here. The natives definitely excel in melee, so we'll see. We'll see. And they got bows raining down on them too from the woods back there. The Winnebagos are shooting bows in. Now you can see the Spanish player bringing all of his fresh forces into the fray. Basically just volleying into everything, and which is not a bad idea, because even if you're killing your own ally, you're going to kill a lot of the native forces, and they're already tired, so it will cause morale drops. So it's a wise plan to do that. As you can see here, now the natives get in the back of these Spanish units and throwing some tomahawks. Starting to whittle these Wallen guards down. Like I said, it's a slow affair, but they're getting there. They're getting there. And here's a tomahawk throwing. Guys, a slow action with the throwing, but they throw them every once in a while. They gotta practice throw them like 7 or 8 times before they actually throw them. It's kind of sad. I remember watching Conan the Barbarian. He just throws those axes super quick. I wish they were like Conan. Look at the Spanish. They didn't know there was any cav left up there, and they just got smashed right in the back. How you like that? How do you like that? That was pretty awesome. I wonder who did that. All right, here comes. This is a very close battle, very close. So, more Spanish guards coming forward, like we needed to see more of them. You can see here the remnants of the other 2 Spanish players are getting decimated here. That last Spanish player probably is going to be too much to handle. Just looking at all these natives are currently in melee, so you know they're exhausted at this point. But on the good note, looks like this fight is getting close to ending over here. There's not many of these Wallen guards left, nor is there any of the not many of the Guardia infantry left here. As you can see, they're getting constantly shot down by bows. That's nice. I think there's 2 or 3 of them shooting at one guard. So they are about to rout, and yep, there they go. See ya. You know, that's pretty darn good animation. Those arrows coming like that. That looks pretty darn realistic. I love it. All right. So, here come the Native Americans getting some cav charges in, routing out the remnants of the Spanish player on the that were retreating from the top of the map. So now it looks like it's down to just the bottom 2 players of the Spanish, and one of them is almost dead. So you see a lot of the generals are going to start falling in combat here. All right, man. I mean, this has just been a brutal fight here. You just gotta love this. And look at this Spanish player throwing the grenadiers in, the grenades in. That's a killing blow right there. That is a killing blow. I mean, that just wiped out a lot of native men. One of the Spanish is getting blown up with it too, but you're taking out a good 3 or 4 native troops with that grenade just to kill one of your own, that's a definite win. That just won that whole fight for the Spanish with 2 grenade volleys. Look at all the natives routed in that fight. So, which was, I think, 4 native units against one last Spanish unit in that fight. So those grenades really just tipped the favor in Spain's direction. And you can see here Spain circling the wagons, making their last stand there. Let's go up here and take a look at the carnage. We're going to see all the dead bodies. We're going to call this the Trail of Tears, as we see all these dead Spanish and Huron over here on the hill where the fight began, all in the woodland here. And then on the slope of the hill, we can really see the trail of where the Spanish were retreating to. This really gives us a good path of where all the fighting took place and how this battle progressed. Slowly down the hill, the bodies leave the evidence. This is like battlefield detectives, and we don't even need our metal detectors, ladies and gentlemen. We have physical proof of dead, rotting carcasses in the grass to show us. And we have all these nice trinkets. We could go to this battlefield and pick up all these nice arrowheads and hatchets and muskets. Wouldn't that be something? Look at all the carnage here. I mean, my God. I mean, a whole 2 Spanish armies dead there, and 2 native armies pretty much died in that location. And you can see here, nothing down there. So we're about to get some more carnage as we are at the end of the battle here. Hopefully the natives will get some rest, as all these Spanish have definitely had tea time and they're all rested up and ready for the end game. The natives sadly are not. They are exhausted, very tired, and needing a break. Well, I guess that's how it goes sometimes. Well, looks like that grenadier didn't make another grenade volley. He got shot down by the native cav there and the musketmen, and a couple tomahawks and a couple arrows to throw in for good measure as the musketmen move forward to try to get some shots in. As you can see, the bullets flying at the bottom, that's the other native muskets from the Huron. The Iroquois musketmen want to get into action too. Spain's having none of it. They're trying to run. Let's go ahead and speed this up. This is getting to the end of the battle here, and we're going to just speed through this just a little bit for more action as the Spanish cav is getting into the Iroquois musketmen, but this light dragoon is going to end up routing off for Spain. Muskets saw them coming and started blasting them on the way. All right, we got another Spanish line infantry about to break here as the Iroquois get their dander up again. Here come the Iroquois cav. What is it? I can't remember what they're called. Fire keepers. Fire stick dudes is what I like to call them. Alright, so here we go. Melee with the light dragoons. One of the fire keepers does rout off. The one that was depleted took most of the shot. And here we go. We're getting to the end of it, my friends. This is looking pretty good. This is, like I said, this battle is man, this is a really good battle. This one was a really, really unique battle. Really enjoyed this fight. So I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Alright, Spanish cav getting into the fight over here. That other Spanish line is just barely holding out as the native cav goes ahead and charges into the back of these Spanish line over here. And we got some other Iroquois going to join the fight against these walling guards. They whack right into them. Because you know why they had to do that? They're out of ammunition from their bows. Here we go, another general dies. That was one of the native chiefs. Woohoo! Man. We got bodies flying everywhere. It's nuts. Alright, the Spanish cav is out of this. So the natives have cav superiority, but Spain just has way too much infantry for it to matter at this point. Alright. See that native horseman just hatcheted that little Spanish dude right in the head. I think he ripped off a scalp, and sadly he's about to bite the dust. Alright. These guys are getting into these beret-wielding militia. Their pointy rifles. Bayonet-wielding souls. Alright. And that's pretty much it. I think the natives have had enough. They're about to rout off. There's not a whole lot of them left. There's just too many guards left for Spain. This is definitely a close fight. You can see the native muskets just ripping through on them. But here goes another chief of the natives does hit the dirt. We'll have to put him up on his in the burial ground. Alright, a couple more charges. We're down to the nitty gritty here. Just a couple native units left. The Huron rifle or muskets are about to rout. One of them left. The chief's bodyguard for the Iroquois still smashing in with some cav charges, and he dies, as does the rest. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you for joining us on the final battle of week 1 of our 4v4 tournament for Empire Total War, nation versus nation. And I hope you did enjoy it. The Iroquois and the Huron are going to drop to 0-1 to start this season. And the Spanish start off right with a victory, going 1-0. We'll join you next week for more as we set up for, actually it'll be just in a few days, we're going to be starting and having the remnants of these armies taking on a new nation to fight to see who will win this tournament. Week by week, we have 14 weeks to get through. The best records face off in playoff, and then the remaining 2 go on for the championship. So I hope you are looking forward to it as I am. I will give you an update to preview what is ahead for this tournament shortly. Sorry for the delay on the uploads. YouTube has been causing a little bit of delay with the slow uploads. So that's why the videos have been a little bit slow to get up. So anyways, I will see you soon. I appreciate you as always. And this is David with Fairmere's Rangers, heading out.